touch screen shit.
Oh, dang. Woo! Yes.
Speaking of things, existence. Put on table. Put on table.
Hey, Malcolm.
Malcolm, Shavika, Twanda, Contessa,
cousin.
Mary.
Hey, Tessa. Hey, Mary.
You make me smile.
Hey, Malcolm.
You are my Valentine.
Mary, we gonna get to your questions, boo. Hey,
Yes,
Keena.
ma'am, we got you. I like your head, Malcolm. Clap, clap.
If y'all like the song, put some hearts on the screen. If you like the song, put some hearts on the
Hey,
screen.
Judy. Hey, Jeanette. Hey, Tia. This is a 90s groove. Really feels like so cool.
Yeah, I know, right? I do like this.
I can never do it. I like it all the time. You're one of a kind, created so beautiful, and you're all mine. I want you to know. I didn't want to sing it out loud. You are my Valentine, yeah. I love you, oh yes I do. Sorry.
Hey, Miss Diane.
Hey, mama. Hey, Cherise, let's take it to the bridge. You made my world.
Yeah, Vika. This is
round
TJ's song.
and round.
Hey, Arthur.
I am the luckiest man. Hey, I'm about to say go.
All right, come on, let's speed up. We get started.
The Bridges.
Hey, everybody. Welcome
Hello.
to Thursday Love. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? Hope y'all had a great week so far. It's been a good week. It's been a blessed week. It's been a great week. So we kind of going to just jump right on into it today. We just gonna kind of jump right into it. Hey, Charlene. Okay, so last 2 weeks we talked about challenges, and we had some crazy and great responses from the challenges. And so we're gonna start off tonight answering a question from last week's broadcast. A lady that we know, a sister of ours that we know, she had 2 questions, and so we're gonna kick it off with her 2 questions. Okay. So her first question was...
Can an unexpected challenges. All right. Can an unexpected I can't say it then.
Can an unexpected challenge
be a death in the family? And the answer to that is yes, it can be. We know from firsthand experience, that death in a family can be an unexpected challenge.
Yeah.
Many may not know because they only see our beautiful, daughters that we have, Zariah and Taylor.
Yes.
September 2014, me and Sherry lost a baby girl. So it's like 6 days, 7 days before delivery.
Yeah.
So
we had a stillbirth.
Yeah, stillbirth. So and I promise you with all that I have, we had so many thoughts to go through our head. Yeah. And this is something we'll discuss in further Thursday Loves, but I just give you a small snippet. We had so many thoughts to go through our head about leaving one another or just doing other crazy stuff because of the pain and the hurt, that we went through. And I've talked to, make a long story short, we made the decision that although, we went through, that tragic experience, we made the decision that that tragic experience was not going to kill what we had. Even though we lost our daughter, we still have 3 other daughters, and we still have our marriage.
Yeah.
And so we made a decision to stay together and fight through the pain, through the hurt, whatever how we felt. We made a decision to talk out however we felt.
Right.
However crazy. I was one night in the hospital room. I was telling Sherry, thoughts that were going through my head. And it literally freaked her out because of the thoughts that were going through my head. But I told her, I gave her a forewarning. I said, I'm not going to do any of the things that I'm discussing with you, but I just have to talk them out.
Yeah.
And I've talked to many couples many married couples actually, who lost kids and so forth and so on. And they wind up trying to, they tried to heal. They tried to heal, but they tried to heal on their own instead of trying to heal together. And before they knew it, one was way over to the left, one was way over to the right. And before they knew it, they had grown apart. And they had grown so far apart that I guess, the marriage wasn't reconcilable. And they end up having a divorce. So, yes, death in family can most definitely be a challenge.
And it's not just with a stillbirth. I mean, that's detrimental, but any death. Losing a parent or, losing a sibling, those are very detrimental to a family member, especially if they're real close. Death period is just hard. So it's a challenge because, honestly, you don't know how you're going to respond until you actually go through it. Yeah. And so, honestly, when you start going through those things, you don't know how to respond or react because this is an uncharted territory. Yeah. And so you kind of like feeling your way through. So yes, most definitely it can be a challenge.
Yeah, it's easy to say what you will do. Mm-hmm. But once you start going through it, I guarantee your story will change.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Oh yeah, and hey to everybody that just joined. D. Dawson, Shadra, Monique, Apostle Mitchell. Hey.
Monique, Shadra.
Okay.
Yeah. So question number 2 was, is it possible not to have challenges in the marriage? Before I give you my earthly answer from the TJV, the question once again is it possible not to have challenges in the marriage? Like I said, before I give you the TJV, we're going to give you the KJV.
TJV?
Yes.
Yes.
The T stands for.
TJV. Woo. All right, go ahead. Okay, so her question was, are there any possible, is there possible to have not have challenges in a marriage? And, basically we're going to go with scripture first. John 16:13 says, these 33. Things, John 16:33. We're talking about that tonight, correction.
Yeah, we are.
These things I have spoken unto you that in me ye might have peace. In the world ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. So yes, most definitely, you're going to have problems. You're going to have trials. You're going to have tribulations, not only in life, but in marriage. That's just something that is given. That is something that is biblical. That is something that's going to happen from the beginning of time until now. You're going to have challenges.
Right. So is it possible not to have challenges in the marriage? No, it's not possible.
Bottom line.
You're going to have challenges.
You're going to have
But challenges. The thing is, that's what makes the marriage strong. Because you don't know the strength of your marriage until you go through tests. Mm-hmm. It's just like when you're in school. You don't go to the next. You don't go to the next grade level until you pass. All the whatever quizzes or tests till you absorb the information that the teacher has given, and then you've proven through testing purposes that you've learned everything that you need to know to go to the next grade level. So yeah, I would say you want challenges because you need to know what your marriage is made of.
Right.
Now, it depends on the kind of challenges that you have, but I would say you want to know because you want to know what you have. Yeah. And some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight will kind of move into the place of why you want challenges, some challenges in your marriage.
Charlene said algebra class.
Algebra class? Oh yeah, algebra. I sucked at algebra. Geometry, I just passed by Jesus. Hi.
Okay, so that was answering the question somebody had sent to us about last week was challenges, and so. Tonight though, we are talking about protect your marriage. Protect your marriage. This is even though it is about marriage, this is something that is helpful for singles as well to prep you because you can start practicing these things before you get into marriage. So for those that are engaged, those that are dating. But so yeah, I put on the flyer, protect your marriage, defend and respect. So tonight we're kind of going to hit 2 little topics. Because protecting your marriage can kind of be kind of broad. So we're going to kind of hit on two main areas, which is defending your spouse and respecting your spouse. So the first one is defending your spouse at all costs. Defending your spouse at all costs. So you're up.
Why not? Why me? Defend me at all costs. All right. So the first thing, man. The first thing we're gonna talk about is when we talk about defending your spouse. Now, let me give you a small example. So everybody who don't know, Sherry in her heydays,
I'm telling my business.
she about to cross over to she about to leave the 30 zone. She about to hit the 40 zone. Yes, I did. I sure did. Anyway,
you older than me.
Hey, look, to God be the glory. Anyway, so in her heydays, when the knees and stuff was working right, and she had more air and all that stuff, Sherry was a killer. Sherry was a killer point guard. Now, I'm talking about these. Oh man, how I want to say it. It's like a male Steph Curry in that example. I mean, one of them ones who you hated to see her. Mind you, our high school was a rivalry basketball team, so you hated to see her play because you knew if she was on the court, I don't care if they were down by 150 points, and this little midget was going to run up and down the court and steal the ball. Yes, I said it. She was going to run up and down the court, steal some balls and some passes, and they were going to win the game. So, she was tough. She would shame on me. Anyway.
That's right, Carolyn. Take up for me, girl. Take up for me.
She played all the intramural, middle school, college, all that good old stuff. Anyway.
Thanks, Arthur.
And she also played a lot of street ball, okay? So, mind you, street ball is different from regulation ball. Street ball, regulation ball, you get a little slap on the hand, they call it whistle, foul, a little referee. Street ball, there ain't no referees. All right, so street ball is a man's game or a woman's game, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, street ball, you can get scratched, punched, whatever the case is. Keep playing.
It's a doggy, dog.
It's a doggy, dog, cat, mouse, whatever, world. Anyway, so this chick was guarding this dude. Now, mind you, the dude's bigger than me. All right, I'm just going to put that out there. The dude bigger than me. And, street ball, this woman likes to talk, but she's competitive, y'all. Don't believe this little administrative shouting, intercessory prayer stuff she be doing. Anyway, she competitive. So, she was guarding this guy. I mean, he's a big dude now, but he whining like a baby. You know what I'm saying? She embarrassed him, basically. And she hauls off and fouls some real hard.
Sharon.
And she fouls some real hard, and then she starts talking junk to this 6'5", about 250, 300-pound dude. Now, and I'm looking like, woman, shut up. And shut up is a bad word. Anyway, I'm like, yo, chill. Because this dude haul up and hit you. Then I'm going to get drugged on this court because I got to defend you. Because, I'm going to let this. And I was praying, y'all. I was in the intercession. Anyway, I was praying, Lord, don't let this dude, don't let this dude touch her because I got to go for broke. So, when we talk about defending your spouse, sometimes you have to defend your spouse even if it means I'm talking about a physical defending. Now, sometimes you got to defend your spouse even if it means pretty much you getting drugged on the carpet. Because when you make that vow, man, to protect, love and protect, honor, all that good old stuff, all that stuff is included. You can't just let your wife get beat on. And I'm right now I'm talking about a physical beating, but we're going to talk about other abuse, and when we talk about protecting your spouse. She laughing. She laughing because she knows it's the truth.
So that's part of it. So defending your spouse and in the public's eye can be very difficult because in certain situations, such as this example, this very exaggerated example, you go against some obstacles. You can be put in positions where you go obstacles that you just like, okay, this is a bit too much. But, at the end of the day, you love your spouse. You love your partner. You love them. And so, right. That love makes you feel like you can conquer anything and you can take down anyone. But there's also some situations in defending your spouse where you're in certain situations where you're in public. It could be in a crowd of friends. It could be at church. It could be wherever where someone hauls off and just flat out disrespects your spouse.
We're not talking about physically. This is a verbal thing.
This is more so a verbal disrespect, and so
actions or whatever the case may be.
And so I can speak from experience of whereas TJ, not only has he done it on the physical side, but he's also done it verbally. we had a situation a few years ago, where someone disrespected me. And
that's a no in my book, y'all.
And disrespected me. And so I kindly, because he walked up at the time, I just didn't respond because I was kind of like taken back because it just caught me left field, totally left field. And he just happened to step up during that time. And when he did, I didn't have to say anything. He just automatically opened his mouth and responded. Like, he went to my defense within seconds. Like, literally, it wasn't even no time for me to respond because he was just right there in the nick of time. He heard the statement. He heard the comment. He heard how it was presented. And he answered it well, very professionally, very well, And I just walked away because I felt myself getting a little
felt
angry.
that street ball coming out of her.
I felt a little angry. So, I just walked away. But he ended up handling the situation for me. So certain situations like that, you have to learn how to handle these situations when your spouse get disrespected in public by friends or family. It's a certain way of handling it. Because one of the hardest times to defend your spouse is when it comes to your family. Yeah.
Because your family are people who you grown up. If it's a mother or a father, y'all have a certain way that y'all raised.
Yeah.
But at the same time, once you say "I do" to that spouse, you love your parents. You really do. You love your parents with all your heart, whatever But once you make that vow to your spouse, they now become your main responsibility.
Yeah.
So sometimes at the risk, and I know some may not agree, but sometimes at the risk of angering your family, you have to defend your spouse, because at the end of the day, that's the one you got to go home to. Yeah. That's the one who you are sharing everything with. You don't let nobody. And mind you, if it's like your pastor or something, and he or she may I guess a reprimand, but may tell your spouse something that they should be doing that they're not doing. That's a different story.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's coming from a place of leadership, a place of love.
Right.
They're not trying to, embarrass your spouse or belittle them or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? And I would hope that they wouldn't try to do that. Yeah. That's another different thing. That's something spiritual. But we talking about this natural stuff here. Sometimes family, sometimes the husband might not like the father might not like the husband, or the wife, the mother might not like the wife, and so she just decides, or he decides, that they can just talk to that woman, to that husband or that wife, any kind of way they choose. No, that you can't allow that, because
just to add in, just to disrespect the home, like because now we have set up certain rules and boundaries in our home, and then certain family members come in, they feel like, well, that's my I'm family with the wife, so I can do whatever I want. But there's a whole new agenda, there's whole new rules. It's not like back at home with Poo Poo and KK and we do something different.
Poo Poo and KK.
Yeah, I just made it up. Anyway, so but there's certain things that should be discussed, and so they come in, they feel like they can talk on the phone, run the phone bill up, or they can play the TV real loud and stuff like that. And then you come in and ask them nicely to stop doing that, and they be like, whatever, this ain't your house. My son run this house. That's total disrespect, and that's a hard thing. So it's a hard thing to handle.
It's a hard thing to handle, but and then the thing is, when you say those things, you don't have to be disrespectful. This is not a get out of jail card to be disrespectful to your parents. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
Because it's a way to say things.
Right.
Also, if your parents really respect your marriage and respect who you are, they're going to, they're going to know. I've overstepped my boundaries. Let me back up a little bit. And they'll apologize. But then you do have some parents though who don't know their limit. And for those who don't know their limit, it's not to be disrespectful. Once again, this is not a license to be disrespectful. But once again, you have to kind of let them know, I understand, you are my parent and so forth and so on, but this is my spouse. This is, in my case, this is my wife.
Right.
So there are certain things. I don't even speak to my wife that way, or I don't even act I don't even respond to my wife that way, or I don't treat my wife that way. So if I don't treat my wife, or if I don't talk to my wife that way, if I don't act towards my wife that way, I'm not gonna and you don't let anybody else treat your spouse that way, because your spouse needs to know at all times, just like I was willing to get dragged on that basketball court.
Right.
Your spouse has to know at all times that no matter what, hell or high water, you're going to defend them. They can depend on you to defend them at all costs. They want to feel secure.
Right.
All right. Now, at the same time, spouses, you can't go and get yourself in hot water and then expect your spouse to come running, on their horse like on Tonto and defend you.
That's
all right. So you got to be in the right too. I love her. Lord knows I do. And I wouldn't let nothing happen to you. Nothing. But I say to you on Facebook Live, if I'm coming to your defense, be innocent.
Be innocent.
Hallelujah. You gotta be innocent, y'all. You can't be guilty. All right. But we gonna further on. We're gonna talk about even if you are guilty. We're gonna talk about that how you respond to that also.
And just to add to it, so back to defending against family and friends and so forth. If a parent or a sibling or a cousin, a family member disrespects you in the home and you look to your spouse to take your back and the spouse doesn't, it makes you feel it makes you feel some type of way. A certain type of trust is like a certain level of respect.
There we go.
A certain level of respect kind of decreases, it kind of goes away and you're disappointed and you're hurt. Mm-hmm. And it feels like, well, if you won't have my back against family, but then dang, you won't have my back against anybody, and so it kind of goes far left and out the window. And so, and that's a conversation you have to have. You just don't sweep it under the rug. So if they don't defend you, you wait till the right time, the right temperament.
Right. Think before you speak.
Think before you speak and come to your spouse and have a talk with them and be like, babe, remember the situation with so-and-so and so. See, I can't take you serious right now. With so-and-so and so, I just felt like, you should have had my back. I felt like you should have came to my defense about that. And explain to them how you feel. Explain, whatever. And then give them a chance to explain their side or their point of view of it.
Conversation.
Don't just yell at them. Don't fuss at them to degrade them or whatever. Give them a chance to respond. And then y'all kind of work it out. Communicate through it. And then hopefully next time, pray that the situation don't arise again. But if so, then y'all know how to walk through it a little better.
Right. And when we talk about defending your spouse, we even talk about there may be some that have older children. This even with your children.
Even with your children.
Well, you know what? They ain't got to be older. They can be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Even with your children, you at all costs you have to protect your wife. You got to put them into place because as your children get older, like I don't mind putting my little 5, 7, and 9 in place because at the end of the day, this is my wife. So I made the vow to protect her, and I'm not gonna let you disrespect her. If she tells you not to do something, you do what she say do. If not, you got a problem with daddy. Because daddy's not gonna let nobody, no rain, sleet, or snow, nobody disrespect his love. So if you got to put them kids in place, if you got to put them kids in place, you put them in place. All right. So we'll talk further about defending.
Okay, so that's just the overview of defending your spouse at all costs. You should have some type of attitude like, I'm going to bat for my spouse. I'm going to bat for it no matter what, And then let me add this. You also, another technique of defending your spouse is not saying nothing. It's not saying nothing. And what I mean is, because there are times that I have seen my husband disrespected. And believe me, with everything in me, I want to speak my mind, say my piece.
You really don't want that.
And the Lord won't gonna fight this battle. I was gonna fight it, and
That's the street again.
But I learned to bridle my tongue.
Woo, shot by. Bridle. B-R-I.
My tongue, and so defending your spouse, I've literally watched, by me not saying nothing, I have literally watched God take how they disrespected him, the certain persons, I'm going to put persons,
vengeance is mine, said the Lord,
that have disrespected him. I have sat and watched how tables have turned and they have flipped in a different situation and turned around and got disrespected the same way. Disrespected the same way. And I just sat back and put a little smirk on my face like, wow. So sometimes not saying nothing, not doing anything. I mean, it's hard. It's hard when you see your spouse get disrespected. It's very hard. So because you want to come and defend that, because that's a part of you, you know, and you don't want nobody to disrespect that. Never. So, all right. Let's move on.
So, point number 2. Now we're going to talk about R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Find out what... respect.
Did you say find out what?
I don't know what them words are. What's her name? Aretha Franklin?
R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
All right. Then we're going to talk about respect. You hit that.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, we're still talking about... Jesus. Respect. Okay, so the second topic. So, the first was defend. Now we're going to respect. So, we're not talking about getting respect from other people. Now we're talking about respect amongst each other. Right. So, respect amongst each other. So, learning how to respect each other in the public eye. So, first we were talking about defending each other in the public eye. Now we're respecting each other in the public eye. So, how many of y'all respect your spouse in the public eye?
Let's see some hearts, some likes, some mean faces, some happy faces. Let's see that.
They need a I don't know. Let me pass on that one.
Zuckerberg, put that up there. IDK.
So, that's the thing. Respecting your spouse in public. So, you know, one of the things that is hard is...
I did it earlier.
was correcting your spouse. Correcting your spouse in public. It's hard. It's hard not to correct your spouse in public. And it's a way to correct your spouse in public. It's a way to do it. It's not good to I really can't talk about this because it's in my head. But when you and your spouse are having a conversation with other people or whatever, you know, and he messes up on a story or something, you don't say, that's wrong. You just said it wrong. You messed up, you know.
I tend to ramble.
You know, you don't come out your mouth being ratchet and petty or loud and disrespectful. You know, it's a way to do it because, see, like earlier in the beginning of the broadcast, he corrected me on the scripture. And he kind of like said it on his breath and he said it real low. And I tend to do that with him too. Like if we're in the midst of a crowd talking, I try. That's that tone deaf company. I can't whisper. So, you know, I try to tell him in a low voice, no, that won't right. That won't right. You know, and you try not to cause a scene because when you cause a scene of correcting your spouse in public, it looks like you're divided. It looks like you have tension. It looks like y'all always have attitude and arguments. It brings about a perception that you don't want people running their mouth about.
It gives people the green light to disrespect your spouse.
Yeah.
Because they say, well, okay, look, well, they don't respect one another, so hey, I can say whatever I want to say.
Yeah.
And he ain't gonna, she, they ain't gonna come to defense. It's the same thing like with the kids. You know, your kids try to play you against one another. Mm-hmm. And so if the kids see that you're not unified, they feel like, hey, they can get over you. That's all I just want to say that.
So, also, too, with when it comes to trying to correct your spouse, sometimes you can wait till later to correct them. You don't necessarily have to correct them in public. You can wait till later. Wait till you get in the car. You know, it's like having a disagreement or argument in public. Really try your best not to have those in public.
Oh, yeah.
Try not to have those in public at all. I know it's hard. Believe me, it's hard because you want to say your piece. But hold it. Yeah. And then, you know, and then wait till you get behind closed doors and say your piece then.
Yeah, this ain't like Paul. I mean, I believe it was Paul. If not, Apostle Mitchell, correct me, and Pastor Bird, when he was teaching, and he was telling the wife to be quiet. And folk take that and they just go all off the scripture. And the folk be like,
women should be quiet in church.
If women is, I put it this way, if women are quiet in the church, we ain't got no church. Put it that way. We need them to talk. We need them to praise God. We need them to be active. Hallelujah. They keep the church together. But anyway, yeah, this ain't that, you know, that Paul and the women should be silent. Because people preach that and say it all the wrong way. They were just, because Paul was teaching, he was just saying, you know, I don't have time to stop. When you get home, just ask your husband whatever to explain to you what I was talking about. Right. Anyway, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, try not to embarrass your spouse in public.
Right.
Try not to embarrass. You don't like being embarrassed, so why would you embarrass your spouse? This is your partner. This is your best friend. And don't get me wrong. I mean, this stuff that we're talking about, it's real. It happens. You know, it happens. We've had our share. But we've learned how to tone it and bring it in. Because one, we're private people. Well, we used to be. We trying to work on it.
Right now, we're live.
We're live. And we don't like people in our business. And that's the bottom line. So
that's the way to keep your marriage fresh.
Yes. So, the first thing when you arguing and having disagreements and being disrespectful in public, that opens up the enemy to have people gossiping about you and your marriage. And before you know, you got rumors going on. So, try not to embarrass your spouse in public. Whatever you do in those type of situations, try to do it behind closed doors. Hold your peace. Wait till you get behind closed doors. And not only that, if you do correct your spouse in public, we talked about earlier, make sure your tone is very low. Like
it's a way to do it. Yeah. And I wouldn't necessarily say it's about correction, but when your spouse don't say, sometimes like it's an hour ramble. And Sherry,
Sean Hush,
she'll come, she'll come and she'll sometimes she'll pat me on the leg or something like that.
Yeah.
This is what I'll say.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say don't verbally somewhat correct your husband or your wife or whatever, but come up with some correction signs. For instance, like I said, she pat me on my leg.
I'll pat him
Nobody don't know. They just think she just in love and she just want to touch my knees, which she does.
You lean over like, yes.
Yeah. I mean that's your cue. Okay, you talking too much, or you might need to pipe it down, or maybe you said something wrong.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like what she was saying, I think she might have said it already. But if there's something's wrong, get home or in the car or whatever. Get in the privacy of your own home and just say, baby, X, Y, and Z. You might not should have told that. We wanted to wait to tell that once we got everything in order. And when that happens, don't catch an attitude with them, because the truth be told, sometimes we are wrong. Sometimes we do run our mouth too much, and sometimes we are out of order. So as a husband and wife, you should be able to have that conversation with your spouse and they not get offended.
Right.
Throw that offense mess out the door.
Yeah.
That thing will save your life. I promise you.
Yeah, and that goes back to what we talked about the past couple of weeks about being honest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Knowing to receive or accept when you're wrong in the situation. Let your pride go down. So yeah, of course. All right.
The third one is drum roll, which says there is power, and Sherry briefly talked about it.
Yeah,
there is power in your silence.
Power in your silence.
Now tell me how much power is in your silence.
A lot of power. Okay. Sorry. She's
having a gassy moment.
More like constipated.
I ain't gonna tell you what it look like, but anyway, we on live.
All right. Okay, so
hey, Michelle.
You late? That was
earlier.
Hey, Anthony. So yeah.
George, keep going.
So yeah, it's power in your silence. Of course, we kind of touched on this briefly a few weeks ago, as well as tonight. It takes some discipline to learn to keep your mouth closed.
Who study to be quiet, says James.
Yeah, that's what the Bible says. Study to be quiet. Study is an actual practice at learning to be quiet. But you speak so many volumes. You speak so many volumes in your silence. And so there are going to be times when, like I stated earlier, that you're going to want to respond. You're going to want to you want to have some type of reaction to what is going on. And you might be justified in your reaction or response, but sometimes it's just best if you don't say anything, because it honestly will pay off in the long run.
Yeah, as Sherry explained earlier about some people disrespecting or whatever, how she didn't say anything and God worked it out. Mm-hmm. I use silence. I give an example of how powerful your silence is. So me and Sherry, and like I said, Sherry's a baller. So she's street. Hey, it's that thing under her nose it's very powerful. It can it's sharper than a two-edged sword.
That's the word of God.
I'm just saying that her mouth can cut. It can cut you in half, and not just cut you in half, but it can cut you in plenty of pieces. Anyway, so I'm just telling you, they cut your blood. Anyway, it make you bleed. Hallelujah. So anyway, we first got married or whatever. Sherry, because she was used to it. She used to argue all the time. I mean,
yeah.
Matter of fact, the dirt don't look right. She argue about that.
Yeah.
And I can't stand arguing. I don't feel like we should have to argue. You know what I'm saying? We can't talk it out. Well, I feel like we should be able to talk stuff out without raising our voice. Now, mind you, we ain't perfect, so yeah, we do goes in sometime.
Yeah.
But anyway, so We first got together, everything. She just wanted to argue. Just yap.
I argued a lot.
A lot. I mean, y'all, it was a lesson. Anyway.
But I came from a family that argues. You know, we loud. I come from a family, we're very loud. Our voice carries. And, yeah, we argue. We get out there, it was agree to disagree type of thing.
But anyway, so she would, like I said, everything. She just wanted to argue. Just yap. And they got to the point, I can't think of that movie, but they had a little just go over their ears. And you just, Charlie Brown. Y'all, whoever know Charlie Brown, when the school teacher, and Charlie Brown and them be talking, and all you hear is wah, 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 wah. And that's how I got to the point where I just toned it out. But anyway, so, make a long story short. So it got to the point where, that's how it sounds sometimes. I love you. But that's how it sounded. Now I listen to everything you say, and I take everything you say to heart. Anyway, believe that. Anyway, so she, like I said, she used to argue a lot. And it got to the point where I said, okay.
I'm tapping his knee.
See, she tapping my knee right now. She got me. So it's that signal.
I'm tapping his knee.
So anyway, she let her argue a lot. So it got to the point where I said, okay, cool. I said, all right, so I got a choice. I can either argue, but that's why we was talking about how you got to think. You got to think of mechanisms. So I said, okay, I can either argue back with her and it's going to blow up to a whole big thing because I learned my lesson. Just want to let you know that. That's how I know. And this is how we know that silence is so powerful. Anyway, so I said, okay, I can argue back with her and then it'll be a whole big thing because I ain't listening to her. She ain't listening to me. I said, or I can just be quiet and let her hear herself arguing and me not saying the word. Let her hear how she sounds. Because the thing is, in order to have an argument, you got to have somebody to argue with. Yes, misery, and she won't miserable, but I'm just saying, I'm using the analogy. Misery loves company. All right? So what I did was I got to the point when she would argue, I wouldn't say a word. I'll sit right there, and I look her right dead in her face, and I let her argue, and I wouldn't say nothing. And so after about 100 times or so.
100 times or so. What? God.
She tapping my knee again. Yeah. So after about 100 times or maybe 200 times or so, it's for somebody hit her. And she said, no, hold up, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let her tell you what crossed her mind. Share.
So yeah, after a few times realizing that he wasn't gonna argue, I mean, he literally would just sit there and like focus on a TV or whatever was near him. He would just sit there.
Her in the face.
No, he wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
No, he wouldn't. And I'm just sitting there yapping, going on arguing. I mean, at the top of my register, yelling.
Veins sticking out of her eyes.
And everything hot.
The devil horns. This abuse. She ain't tapping me now.
So, but then it got to the point I realized that he wasn't responding. And I'm like, do you not hear me talking to you? And he would look at me just like that. My
response was, yes, I hear you.
And he would, and it wouldn't be nothing else. And so finally it got to the point I realized, okay, I look around, I'm just like, I'm arguing by myself basically. And I'm like, he ain't saying nothing. And so it got to the point that I would start to argue. And the more I would start to argue, the quicker I would end up hushing because I was arguing by myself. And then before you know it, really want too much to argue about.
And just with that silence, I didn't have to say anything. Yeah. She was able to hear, and mind you, no, I'm not all perfect now. I have my flaws too.
I could say he do that too.
Yeah, I got my. That's right, Mitch. I have my flaws too. And she has her mechanisms, of helping me come to my senses in my areas of hallelujah. Anyway, but just by me being silent, it let her come to the conclusion. I need to change this about myself because, maybe I need to think is. What I don't know if I say is the right tense, but what I'm trying to argue about, isn't even worth arguing.
Right.
And she came to the conclusion without me having to say anything. No, It wasn't.
Yeah.
And then not on that, but she also knew, by me not saying anything, she saw a standard that I had without me even saying a word. She automatically knew, okay, if I want him, and this is, I call it a love language. If I want to get through to him, I can't get through to him by yelling.
Yeah.
If I want to get through to him, I got to get through to him by, my old folks used to say, cook him a good meal and stuff like that. And then rub their head. Anyway, but no, I have to find a way to get to him without arguing and yelling and screaming. Because that causes heart attacks and strokes. But anyway, just by me being silent, you know what I'm saying, it was so powerful because it allowed her to reassess her way of thinking and her way of talking to her husband.
Right.
And, because there may be out somebody in Facebook land that don't know how to talk.
Right.
To your spouse. So figure out little mechanisms and just sometimes just study to be quiet.
Yeah, and which that kind of flows into our last one for the night, and then we're going to kind of wrap it on up. Kind words can heal, from those situations where TJ will honestly get quiet on me and I'm sitting there arguing whatever, and if I did ask him, do you hear me talking to you? He'd be like, yes. He would say it real soft. Real kind, he won't, it's like it wasn't no attitude or animosity behind it. And, and it kind of like broke me down. Like really, it kind of like broke me down. And so I just realized that, it got to the point that whereas if we did have a slight argument or whatever, it would never escalate to the point of where it used to. It was just be an argument and then like 5 minutes later we're good.
What you want to eat?
What you want to eat?
What you want to watch a movie?
Yeah. It got to the point, we're going to have this argument. I'm going to say my piece, you're going to say your piece, but we're going to move on. And that's pretty much, he taught me that. Because it ain't no point of staying mad. It ain't no point of staying angry. You wasting your day. You wasting energy. You could be living life and having fun, but you sitting there arguing or staying upset. Or I need to take a couple of days from you. Which is some people that do that. I need to take a break from you right now. Do what you got to do, but I've learned that sitting there angry all day is a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. I get exhausted from that. And and it's just like, honestly, I just didn't see the point anymore. I didn't see the point. So, basically, it's like what the Bible says, in Proverbs 15:1, it says, a soft answer turn away wrath. And that's pretty much what he did. He just kindly just put me down and he said, and kept it real low, and it just turned away the wrath. And so it calmed me down. But it says, but grievous words will stir up anger. So which means if he had constantly debated with me or argued with me, it would have just got me more angry. So the more you argue with somebody, it just incites more fury. It just broadens the flame. Right. So you know what I'm saying? So you got to get to a point that you got to learn how to just bring yourself down or just don't say anything at all.
Kenny Rogers said you got to know when to, hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run. All right, kind words have power. Kind words have power to heal. Kind words also has the power to destroy whatever the enemy is trying to set up in your marriage.
Yes.
What kind of dissension, what kind of whatever bitterness that the enemy is trying to set up in your marriage. Right. Kind words has the power to destroy that also.
Yeah.
So kind words has the power to heal. And it has the power, and heal, meaning what God wants us to do. He wants our marriages to be healed. He wants our marriages to be strong, strengthened. Yeah. But it also has the power to destroy whatever crap the enemy is trying to, throw at y'all. Because, the enemy hates the sanctity of marriage. If you look at society today, society is, especially in Hollywood, even though you do have some couples in Hollywood who are, been together for a long time and, they're thriving. But you do have some couples who are together for 2 days and they go. Next week they with somebody else, and the week after they with somebody else. So society does not promote. And I think in the very first Thursday Love idea, I gave it some. Statistics. Thank you, man. Thank you. See, she corrected me, but that was a good correction.
I just helped you.
It was some. Yes, she did. Yeah. Anyway, I gave some statistics about what society says about marriage and the. The degree that they give marriages and so forth and so on. So the society does not promote healthy marriages. Yeah. He does not. I mean, it does not. But God loves it. He loves healthy marriages. So, like I said, kind words can heal and destroy whatever the enemy, Satan, Lucifer, whichever one of y'all want to call it, the traps that he want to set up for the marriages.
Yeah, because if you're constantly angry, you constantly disrespecting each other, you constantly arguing or whatever at each other, it opens doors to more things, to mistrust, miscommunication. So, it just opens the door to a lot of negative things. Right. And you'll find yourself separating or growing further apart instead of coming together. See, the thing is, the kind words kind of bring you together, whereas all the anger and the frustration brings you apart. And so that's the thing. A lot of us don't realize that. The more you sit there and argue all the time, it's just making you come further and further apart because nothing is getting resolved.
Right.
And
when we talk about kind words, now let me say this, and I may get some mean faces, like I look right now with the red and little yellow. I may get some mean faces from the women. But let me say this, and I say this, I guess I can say this in love. But if you're pregnant, that ain't no real excuse to say some unkind words to your husband.
Are you stressed out from work?
Or you worried
about something that has nothing to do with your husband?
Or whatever. Because I get it. Granted, I mind you, when we had our third daughter, Taylor. And, when Sherry was pregnant with Zariah and Anaya, I was the king of the crop.
Yes.
But Lord Jesus the Christ, Jesus of Nazareth, the one who he lived, he performed miracles, he died and he rose on the third day with all power in his hands. With Taylor, boy, she couldn't stand me breathing. Like I couldn't even me breathing, it bugged the life out of her. Yeah. And her words were not kind. They were not kind words. Yes, I said it. They were not kind words. And I get it. The hormones are raging. The song said, though the storms keep on raging in your life. I understand them hormones are raging. Douglas Miller, yes. The hormones are raging. But even in that, y'all, you gotta watch how you speak. And not just the women, because sometimes when a woman is pregnant, the men, we get them. I gained about 20 pounds. I think I had. Yeah. So our emotions be running wild too. But it still doesn't give you a reason to talk to your husband or your wife any kind of way. Yeah. It got to the point where I said I was trying that quiet thing, that our silence have power thing. I was trying that, and then one day I said, Lord Jesus the Christ, I said, hold on, we gotta have a conversation. And I said, look, I hear you. I'm not. My body is not growing, and I don't feel nobody swirling around in me and kicking and keeping me up at night and on my bladder and all that good old stuff. And then when the day comes, I don't have to deal with being cut or pushing no labor, all that good old stuff. But you just got to watch how you talk to me, because I've been trying to be quiet and I've been trying to hold my mule. That's like Sean said. I've been trying to be quiet, but it ain't. But what Papa said. He said I can't remember the whole thing, but he just said I can't stand no more. And I said, you gotta tame that tongue and how you speak to me, because I'm trying to be understanding, in the experience that you're having. But you gotta start saying some kind words to me.
Yeah, and it's hard when you're pregnant. It is. Your emotions are all over the place. 1 minute you're crying, 1 minute you're mad. 1 minute you're happy. You're just all over the place. But yeah, for some odd reason, my third pregnancy, I couldn't stand the smell of TJ.
And I smell good, y'all. I put on some cologne. I made sure I washed. My breath was smelling good.
It's like I just didn't want to be nowhere near him. Like this is all your fault. And I never thought that would happen to me, because my first 2 pregnancies were awesome. But it's not just that. It got to the point that I tried to control my tongue later on. I tried to, just calm myself down. It was hard. It's hard when you're doing it when you're pregnant. But not just only that. Like when you've had a stressful day at work. Yeah. Some coworker has gotten on your nerves or whatever. You went somewhere and driving in traffic. Anything. Like you tend to bring those problems home, and sometimes you don't realize it, that when you walk through the door, you're supposed to leave it all behind you. But sometimes you bring it inside the door and you take it out on your spouse or your family or whatever. And if the other spouse is understanding, very understanding and knowledgeable and wise and know you, realizing they should realize that your anger is coming from someone else. Whatever you're going through, your contention is coming from another angle. Then they should be able to just respond in some kind words. They should be able to respond softly, and that will kind of help you with whatever contention you're going through.
All right. So, that being said, we hope that everybody has enjoyed this week's rendition of Thursday Love. Share the video, like it.
If y'all enjoyed tonight's session, come on, let us see your likes, let us see your hearts. Come on, if you enjoyed tonight's session about protect your marriage, just a couple of things about defending your spouse in public. Come on, practice that. Practice defending your spouse in public. Not only that, but then learning to respect each other in public. Come on, we're not going to do all these arguments and embarrassing our spouse, talking them any kind of way in public. You don't set that example because people are watching you. Children are watching you. There are people who want to be married and they are watching you. So how you handle yourself in public speaks volumes. So when you say smart stuff or you come out your mouth sideways, you know what I'm saying? And you trying to hold an argument, are you correcting them? That's not what you do. That is not what you do in public. If you love them enough to talk to them behind closed doors. Don't do that in public. It's just wrong. It's just wrong altogether. And then not only that, use power in your silence. It's a whole lot of power in your silence.
There's power in your silence.
Anyway, he's special. And then not only that, have kind words. Learn. It's a study. It's a practice to literally tone your voice down. The volume is not what you say; it's how you say it. It's how you respond to your spouse when they're going through a stressful time, whether it be pregnant, whether it be a stressful day at work, whether it be traffic. Would it be a death in the family, like we started off with the challenge earlier today? It could just be a hard thing. And Mary, if you're still out there, you posed a question earlier during the Thursday Love. How long will you consider the beginning of marriage and how many years? I don't quite understand the question. So if you get a chance, hit us up again about the question and we'll most definitely answer. But if y'all have any questions, please feel free to inbox us. If you have any comments, share some of your testimonies and your stories about marriage. It's a great thing. And share this to other people. Invite other people to come in on our broadcast.
Mary. Generally, I think I get what you're saying. How long will you consider? A year ain't enough. That's you ain't even put after a year of marriage, the well is still wet. Well, you know what I mean. That's not a long time. Generally, I would say, what'd you say? I
don't understand the question.
Well, basically, how long would you consider? How long do you have to be married before you consider it as a new marriage? Is it 2 years?
No, some people say 5 years.
Yeah, I was
5 years. Statistically, they say most marriages don't last 5 years.
Yeah.
And so, like, the newlywed mark for most people is like 3. You hear some people say 3 years. Oh, you still wet behind the ears. Y'all still wet. Y'all still happy. Y'all still newlyweds or whatever. But most people, the 5-year mark is like really.
That's what I would say. It's because thank God we got past. Because you're going to experience a lot of things, man, in the first 5 years of marriage.
Yeah.
You're going to have a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
But anyway, a soft answer will turn away wrath, but a grievous words stir anger. Remember that.
So protect your marriage. On this week, practice protecting your marriage. From here on out, always practice protecting your marriage. You're defending your spouse and having wisdom in how to defend your spouse and how to respect your spouse in public. That's like a major key.
Yeah, and practice telling your wife some kind of I love you.
I love you
You're
too.
the most beautifulest. That's not a word. The most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life.
And you're the most handsome in this. That ain't a word either. Come on. All right, y'all. We love y'all. Yeah. Y'all have a great night. Once again, if Alexis was on, she'd see we almost reached an hour. All right. We love you guys. Y'all have a great night.
Good night.
Talk to you soon.